Because you might miss out on that person that you love. Because you were too scared. You feared the rejection of it. You might miss out on that business opportunity because you feared that particular opportunity. You might miss out on a potential blessing because you had an ego and you didn't want to ask for help. You might miss out on the next come up because you were too distracted by social media. So the question is, how do you get to overcome whatever your 5 is? Welcome back to the 5, man. What's good?
Ready, man. Ready. Started.
All right.
Shoot, man.
Hey, welcome back to Honesty on the Table, where our mission is to cultivate a space where vulnerability, transparency, and humble curiosity serve as healthy roots for individual and collective progress. So, without further ado, man, let's go ahead and tap in, man. How y'all feeling?
Good, man. We good, man.
Yeah.
Bro,
No complaints, bro.
all my shows are back on, bro. I'm so happy, man.
Bro, what's your shows, bro? Because you been telling us about some shows.
House of Dragons.
House of Dragons.
House of Dragons is going crazy, bro. The Rings of Power on Amazon. That shit going crazy.
Yeah.
I ain't gonna cap, bro. Y'all watch P-Valley?
Nah, we don't watch TV.
You caught up?
I ain't catch up, but I'm catching up.
Okay, because it already ended, the season finale and all that. So, yeah, I watch it.
Oh, you watch TV, bro?
I mean, I watch when it's like show. Like I don't watch it when it comes out, but I get around to it in my weeks. You know what I'm saying? Like, oh man, I gotta catch up on such and such. I gotta catch up on Power. I gotta catch up on this, and then if I have time, then I'll sit down and dedicate maybe an hour. I can't. I haven't sat down for like a full 2 hours like movie in a good while. I have to be on vacation for that. You know what I'm saying?
I could do some movies, bro.
Yeah, movies are my relaxation.
I watch. I love shows, so that's my shit.
Yeah. Well, absolutely, man. Well, look, let's go ahead and get to breaking that bread, man. Health tip.
All right, let's start off with the health tip. All right, so today we're going to talk about skin health. Oof. I love my skin, boy. All right, so statistics. 1 in 5 Americans will develop skin cancer by the age of 70. 1 in 5.
20%.
That's crazy. Skin cancer, bro? 1 in 5?
Lack of SPF, bro.
Wow.
That's what it is.
Yeah.
Wow. Whew. All right, so melanoma, the most serious type of skin cancer, develops in cells that produce melanin, the pigment that gives your skin its color. More than 2 people die of skin cancer in every U.S. hour.
I had no idea.
That's crazy.
More than 2 per hour?
Per hour in the U.S. That's just in the U.S. Wow. Skin cancer represents 1 to 2% of all cancers in Black people. The estimated 5-year survival rate for Black patients is only 71% versus 93% for white patients. That's crazy. Wow.
I told you, man. Skin is something to think about.
Wow.
Last season, you was giving like, oh, eat some avocados, eat some sweet potatoes, you be straight, your skin glowing. Nah, man, it's a real
So to help out for your diet, what we're gonna do, we're gonna eat some avocados, fatty fish, nuts, peppers, broccoli, sweet potatoes, dark chocolates. Those are great food for your skins. Exercise. Make sure you exercise regularly. Help increase blood flow to nourish your cells, remove toxins from your skins, and decrease your stress. We gotta decrease our stress. We gotta get therapy. We gotta do yoga. We gotta exercise. We gotta eat right. You are what you eat, bro. That shit's real. Yeah. You are what you eat. You eat shit, you're gonna produce like shit. Our bodies are like cars. Mm-hmm. You gotta put that premium in there, man. Mm-hmm. We're BMWs. So, overall prevention, Cleanse and moisturize daily. Wear sunscreen. All right. Yes, my black people, I said it. Wear sunscreen. All right. I don't know where that notion came from that we don't get any type of skin cancers, and that's totally false. Have a healthy and balanced diet. Establish a gentle daily skin routine to help stop acne, and try to avoid irritants. And stop using scented laundry detergent.
Interesting.
They love that game, bro. Damn, that game go crazy.
That's crazy.
Now
We gotta stop using this.
Now they got the little BDB.
We gotta stop using the
now.
scented.
Yeah.
Well, I don't use scented. I'm tripping. I use Tide. Is that scented? That's
Can
not
be.
scented.
Like original Tide.
Like not the cup. Like I'm talking about like I still use the pods, but yeah,
Or is it like Tide with the white?
just by itself.
Oh, yeah.
Straight.
Original Tide got the same.
All right, cool.
Yeah,
All right, so
ain't like-
my skin is
ain't like
protected.
flying breathing.
Bet. All right, so that wraps up the health.
We doing
What we got on the business tip, man?
Okay, financial tip, man. We're
Yeah.
gonna cover the basis of taxes 101. We're gonna speak about management, filing, and a little hacks, aka tax deductions. So tax management is referred to management of finances for a purpose of paying your taxes, right? Tax management deals with filing returns in time, getting your accounts audited, deducting taxes in other sources. Tax management also helps for you to avoid payment of interest, penalties, and interest and penalties. Filing nowadays is done electronically. So most people who work needs to file their tax returns. Benefits of electronically preparing and transmitting tax returns include increased accuracy, faster tax returns, or aka refunds, and the ability to file federal and state returns spontaneously. We have a couple of tax hacks, aka deductions. You can do your state sale taxes as a deduction. Reinvestment dividends from your stocks and bonds. Out-of-pocket charitable contributions. So if you give your family members, auntie, uncle, hey bro, I'm short on my rent. Yeah.
You should write that down.
Yeah, write that down.
Oh yeah.
All them cash apps y'all been sending and accepting and spending, Apple Pay, Zales. Yeah, deductions. Also, I didn't know about this one. Student loan interest paid by you or someone else.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Mhm.
Oh, yeah, that's how.
Yeah,
That's how I get my benefits.
Yeah, I haven't paid on my student loans yet. I've been good. I've been blessed. Moving expenses. So from what I read, that's mostly like for like military members though. So like we changing bases or whatnot.
Yeah, like
can-
our
Yeah,
PCS and
yeah,
stuff like that.
PCS. That could be a tax
Oh,
deduction.
yeah.
And then the one that everybody love is the child and dependent care tax credit. That's the money maker.
That's the money
It's the bands. It's like $3K per kid.
Right, it's like I think
Shit,
we're
crazy.
going that.
Yeah,
Boy.
Hey, it's crazy. Maybe want to have a kid. Claim somebody else's
Hey,
kid.
for real.
Yeah. But that wraps up the business tip, y'all.
Absolutely.
That's that bread and butter right
That's
there.
that bread and butter. So I got a scenario for y'all, right? All right, check. So imagine you're laying on your deathbed, and standing around you are the relationships, the dreams, the goals, the aspirations, the pursuits, the endeavors, the business opportunities, and they're looking at you directly and they're asking you, why didn't you bring us to life? And as they're asking you why you didn't bring them to life, they're being held at gunpoint. By who? Your fears, your insecurities, your vices, your ego. Now, imagine each of your dreams in a chokehold. What do you do? What fear, insecurity, vice, or ego have you dealt with or you are dealing with in this present moment in time? And how do you overcome it so that you can accomplish what you've been sent here to do? Because you might miss out on that person that you love because you were too scared. You feared the rejection of it. You might miss out on that business opportunity because you feared that particular opportunity. You might miss out on a potential blessing because you had an ego and you didn't want to ask for help. You might miss out on the next come up because you were too distracted by social media. So the question is, how do you get to overcome whatever your 5 is? Who's starting that off?
Hey, man.
So, how do we get to overcoming fear, insecurity,
Security, vice, ego. Because which one is it? Because it's like, okay.
You're saying which one do we revert to?
Yeah, well, yeah. Which one is holding? Yeah, which one has or is holding you
in a chokehold?
At gunpoint. And how did you or how are you or how do you plan to?
You don't know what stage we at.
I don't know what stage we at, so I'm just like, how you gonna overcome that? Yeah.
I think at this current moment, like with me being in school and just trying to figure out what kind of professional I want to be, what kind of legacy I want to leave, I would say it's rooted in ego. Because I guess there's some aspects of the discipline of sociology that needs a lot of support. It needs a lot of funding. It needs a lot of reach. And one of my goals is to make sociology more marketable and more applicable to everyday people. That's why I use y'all as like barometers, like when I'm sharing out my thoughts about what's going on in the communities or what's going on like historically, and I'm sharing some of these thoughts with y'all. I'm gauging each of you and everyone else in my personal life. Like I'm gauging y'all's understanding so I can build that bridge between my career and discipline to you all, because that's the goal. That's been something we talk about a lot in the department. And a part of me, the reason why I say ego is that when you're talking about ego, you're talking about like a form of self-image. You're talking about a form of like ways in which you see yourself, you hold yourself to a certain level of esteem, and how you proceed with your actions, right? And so for me, it's like, I don't want to be caught up in being a tenured professor, 20, 30 years behind a desk, writing and researching, but no one actually understands or feels where I'm coming from. Because I'm so invested in the discipline that if I were to speak to someone else regular on the street, they wouldn't understand. I have to dumb it down so much because I've been so ingrained in books. Like, so my ego is like, I don't want to be another one of those professors. I don't want to be another one of those professionals that get so entrenched in the content that they're not entrenched with the people that they're supposed to support with the content. You know? So I'm really at war about how I want to perceive myself, but also how I want to pay my dues to fulfill my goal of getting this doctorate and to be a productive and impactful professional in that space. So it's more ego, like just me trying to think about my image and how I want to hold myself to a certain esteem and work with that. That's what's happening right now.
Gotcha. I'm gonna have to say it's gonna be between. I got two, bro. It's like two hands, bro, but they kind of equal, right? Yeah. So I'm gonna speak on, for me personally, it would be fear, right? And then the second one would be ego, of course. I would say on the fear aspect, it was just the fear of failure. You know what I'm saying? I kind of put failure on the same heights as death. You know how you and Jalen was speaking like, oh, death is y'all fear or whatnot, but failure is that for me. So within that, to try to overcome that fear of failure, I had to bring in ego, all right? So when Jalen says ego is self-image, ego is, again, as we say, self-preservation. Ego is you. Self-esteem, how you move, what you do. And then with ego, if you do it within, the righteous way, then it's mostly positive. You know what I'm saying? You just want to do things by the book. You want to do things by integrity. So I kind of combine those two as an equal balance, which over time kind of developed and helped me to be who I am today. You know what I'm saying? It has been times where ego, kind of faulted in a negative standpoint, but 9 times out of 10, like my ego and my fear of failure kind of balanced to me just to keep moving forward no matter what. You know what I'm saying? So it's like the fear kind of bring me down, but the ego lift me up. That's kind of like the back and forth with the stepping stone. But I'm still stepping though. But I'm still kind of seesawing, but I'm still moving forward. And that's my kind of back and forth with that currently right now. And it's been that way probably since 2017. But it works for me.
Oh, my mind's racing right now. My mind is racing right now. Mike, you want to jump in?
All right.
Yeah, jump in. My mind is together. Yeah, I'm like, yeah.
So
we about to go somewhere.
I'm gonna go with the same. I'm actually gonna go with the same thing.
Okay.
Like, I have the same fucking chokehold. Like for myself, like right now it would be fear. Right. I'm in a stage in my life. Right. I'm 29, about to be 30. So you already know. You like, damn. You thinking about a lot of things, kids and, where I'm at, with my, my spouse and shit like that. I mean, and another thing for me is that this is my last year of my military contract. I've been in 11 years. And so like, I'm gonna have this like fear of like, okay, is this time for me to go all in and hop into that entrepreneur full-time shit? You know what I'm saying? Or do I stay safe with the career I already got built 11 years in? And, because if I do another contract, I'm doing 20. Like, that's it. Like, so I'm like right there, moving to a different state, things like that, like, I'm trying to get back to Miami. Ooh. So that's like, I got a lot of like stuff riding on me right now, you know what I'm saying? Just like thinking in that aspect. So like every decision I make or everything I do, I have major consequences if they don't go the way I need it to go. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So and now being like within, and into a new business, I've been having like my ups and downs with that. So it's like, it's a lot with that. And now I'm gonna go with ego. So ego for me has the same chokehold, but for me it's gonna be within my marriage, right? It's be the ego of myself. Like, am I, it's checking myself, I guess, seeing that like, I'm not perfect, you know what I'm saying? Like, and also like, it's okay for me not to be perfect, if that makes sense. I think that's the thing I struggle with a lot, is that I strive to try to be this like perfect image person that I don't like ask for help when I actually really need it. You know what I'm saying? Or I don't, I don't speak up, you know what I'm saying, when something's really bothering me, and I just, let it go to the wayside, and then, I blow up. Now I'm still the bad guy because, I didn't project my feelings. You know what I'm saying? Like,
right.
Things like that. Like, so that's another thing I've been fighting as well. Those are the two things that have a chokehold on me.
Man, this is...
Now it's on you now. You got more time, so you can't hide behind me the host now. You got to
listen. I have a healthy fear of remaining the same. And
you said healthy fear.
A healthy fear. And what I mean by that, the fear is part of it. The healthiness of it is part of what's driving me as much as it is. Like part of why sometimes I'm like, why am I still waking up at 5? Why am I still drafting another contract? Why am I like, it's this fear of remaining the same, that 10 years from now, nothing's changed. I'm in the same position. I still think the same. I still act the same. Like there's no growth. And that stagnation, it turns my stomach. It makes me, it's like, I can't allow myself to be put in a position of where I've remained the same despite life happening. Like if there's a new day, then there's a new creature, then I should be constantly growing each day. Every time, like I think about Pokemon, back in the day.
Another anime.
Right? Let's go.
You start off one way, right? And then it's like as you continue to battle, you just evolve, and it's like, I want to become Raichu. I don't want to stay Pikachu forever.
Yeah,
I don't. So I'm looking at my life, and I'm like, okay. And now that sometimes hunts me a little bit because I don't know when I've become obsessive. Like if I've,
now you're speaking.
Yeah, I don't know. Is it okay to chill? Is it okay to relax? Like, and it bothers me sometimes.
I'm triggered.
I started right. Like I watched the episode of Suits. Like for the first time ever. My sister put me on.
The Suits is good.
And I said, I like this show. And I wanted to watch another episode. And I was like, should I be working right now? So I think sometimes the difficulty for me is knowing when it's okay to relax and celebrate and just be in that moment, be in that space. Because I sometimes I feel like a hamster on the wheel and I'm just like going, because it's like I still haven't seen the results I'm enjoying the process, but I'm like, I ain't supposed to be struggling. I'm supposed to be like, it's like I see something and it's like I'm not there yet, and it's like, yo, what do I have to do? I'm knocking on the door. I'm asking politely, let me in, and I'm still getting denied access. You know what I'm saying? They close the gate on me. You know what I mean? It's like you see the house of success over there, and you get to come with the invitation, and man, you super excited, and they start closing the gate. Yes, sir, we don't have any. And so that's sometimes how I feel. So like I said, it's a part of it is healthy, but a part of it is it's a bit obsessive. It's a bit of like, I'm not there yet. It's a bit of, and that fear of not being there creates the insecurity where it's like, okay, like what does being there look like? Will I know when I get there? Is it stress free? Is it always self-induced stress? I don't know. So that's the challenge for me, and that leads us to this. You want to jump in on that part real quick before I transition?
You said it.
Yeah.
You articulated all of that.
Yeah.
It's like, I guess for me, it's like when y'all was saying, when you asked the question to top off this discussion about what has you in a chokehold right now, I would say that fear of remaining the same, or that fear of just the unknown, period. When your blessings gonna cash in, the blessings that your aspirational blessings, when are those things going to cash in? That is like a close second in terms of having a chokehold on me. But I think a way in which I try to overthrow that is by me just showing up every day at school, showing up every day in the library, showing up every day in the gym, showing up. As long as I show up,
Half the battle.
as long as I show up, as long as we show up, like for the pod, we show up for each other, like that is a way forward. I just think as long as we just don't stop and we're making an excuse to stop altogether, we can take breaks. There are times where the stress is overwhelming and you are starting to feel your blood vessels in your brain start to throb a little bit. Yes, you do need to get some rest. You do need to, eat today. You do need to, get that sexual release. You do need to go on vacation. It's good to tap into that tranquility as well, but we're trying to find that balance, because again, you don't want to rest too much on your laurels, because if you really want to be honest, what laurels you got to rest on? You know what I'm saying? You still got more grinding and work to do. Right. So it's like, dang, it's tough. It's a tough battle, but I just try to keep myself moving. I keep myself moving. If I stay still for a little too long, then that's when it will start to catch up to me.
To me, bro.
And I'll be in a dark place.
It's like I get, it's not like instantly depressed, but it's like, when you feel like you stuck, or you just like, damn,
right.
You know what I'm saying?
I get more cranky too. I get more cranky and snappy too.
Yeah, and I think that's where I'm at right now, in a sense, when it comes to the military shit. It's like man, like I love, don't get me wrong, bro. I love the Air Force, straight up, I love it. But I'm tired of it.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? I'm ready for something. I'm ready for that. I'm ready to be. I want to be challenged. You know what I'm saying? I think that's where I'm at. Where it's I want to take that next step in my life and just be challenged to, go hard in my own entrepreneur aspects.
No,
so.
you just want new levels of stress.
Yeah.
It's not pressure.
I want, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, for sure.
So I know y'all familiar with this line. Sometimes you need your ego. Gotta remind these fools who they effing with, and we got effing too, right? So when Lo was talking about the ego and that being a part of what helps keep him balanced, the question I have to you is, where's the line between ego and self-confidence? Like where does one take over the other, and how do you keep the ego and the confidence in check?
Oh, Jalen got that. It's in the mission. It's in the mission statement, bro. Talk your shit.
Mike, you can.
Nah, you got
It's in the mission statement, bro.
Cultivate a space.
Yes, sir.
Where transparency, vulnerability, and humble curiosity serve as our healthy roots for individual and collective progress.
Yep.
Wow. Oh, me and Lo were talking about this the other day when we was going over the questions. How ego is a very delicate instrument. You will find yourself being very, very confident, and then you will find yourself being very, very delusional. All because of your ego, right? Mm-hmm. It doesn't take much for that pendulum to swing one side or another. Wow. The only way in which you keep your ego in check is to continue to have your ego checked.
Say that one more time.
A way to keep your ego in check is to continue to have your ego checked. Perfect example. A lot of folks, we're going to talk about the men, talk about the black men, right? A lot of us, where our egos becomes delusional is at point. Once we reach that moment where you start to think or see things that are not there, or to assume everything is for you. Like when your ego is delusional, you're inherently selfish. You're toxically selfish. Mm-hmm. You don't see the long game. You don't try to play the long game. You want when you want it now. Entitlement happens when you have a delusional ego, or inflated ego. Entitlement. All kinds of disrespect, subtle or visceral, is happening. It's a lot of dysfunction. That usually happens when, as a man, you had moments where your ego got checked and you realize you had to humble yourself and work a little bit more in order for you to earn that internship or that position. Or you need to take under the tutelage of somebody else. It usually has something to do with that. When you're aspiring to elevate, when you're aspiring for upward mobility, you know, you want the wealth, you want the assets over liabilities, you want all these things. You aspire. That requires you to have to sit down. That requires you to have to learn. That requires you to educate yourself. That requires you to have to be someone's mentee. That requires you to have to ask questions. That requires you to have to make mistakes. That requires you to have to understand failure. Failure not in the sense of what Marlo's talking about, like fear of failure that leads to him to be stagnant. But the sense in which failure leads to lessons, failure leads to forward. Mm-hmm. And that's what we're trying to pursue. And your ego can sometimes play you because you just want to be like what Porter said. You just want to be like what Mike said. What we all have been saying. You just want to make it. You want to get to a point where you don't necessarily have to be under the tutelage of everybody, and you become your own man. You become your own boss. And it requires maturity. And it requires humility for you to sit back and be like, you know what? As much as I want all these things, I'm not ready yet. If I would look myself in the mirror, are you really ready for $1 billion industry, $1 billion business to be under your name? Are you really for real? You want this, but are you really ready? And you say, nah, okay, then what do you have to do to gear up for that? And that's when the grind continues. Mm-hmm. But if you say, yeah, and you really feel like you are ready, then okay, what do you have to show for it that reflects that? And if in the case you do that evaluation and it comes up blank, then that means you got to go back to the drawing board and do some more work. Mm-hmm. A lot of people get impatient because they just want to make it, and they start to just rely on their own self-confidence and inflated egos to push them along when that's not the case. Where reality is telling you need more work to do. So the better I got with my ego, the more in which I said to myself that I don't need an ego, is the more in which I kept using my ego for leverage instead of education. I use my ego for leverage instead of education and humility. And it's the people who have no ego are those who are very humble and they are educated and they are willing to continue their education. Mm-hmm. Those whose ego is inflated, they're delusional. They felt like they didn't need to learn no more. They didn't feel like any of that. They felt like they made it. There's nothing else that needs to be said. There's nothing else that needs to be done. I'm coming to get mines. And that's when they cut everybody at the knees along the way. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? They start being real shady, real ratty. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. Cutting corners. That's the folks whose egos are way out there and they need support.
All right.
That's the best way to put it. So to reiterate, the best way to manage having an inflated ego and self-confidence and leveraging healthy ego with that self-confidence is the continual improvement of wanting to educate yourself and also being humble and knowing that you don't know every damn thing. So you got to go back and continue to educate. Mm-hmm. And know that your ego never needed to be a requirement to be educated to begin with. Yes, have confidence in yourself, but also have in the back of your mind that I don't know everything, so I'm gonna come in here to learn something. Right. I'm gonna come in here to network. I'm gonna come in here to build because I don't know everything. I would like to know enough to aspire and achieve this goal, but in the meantime, I need to humble myself and sit down somewhere and learn.
Which leads to vices. Because when we're discussing the humility of our egos and being able to be in a place to where we understand that this is who we are, this is what's necessary for me to become whatever it is I need to become. The question becomes, when you're going through that evolutionary process, at what point are your vices coming into play and affecting and inhibiting upon that progress? And what are your vices? Is it blowing trees? Is it those X-rated sites late at night? Is it social media? Is it alcohol? What are the vices that you are struggling with day in and day out, or intermittently? You good for a little while and you just revert back to old ways. Let's start with you, Mike.
Oof.
Yeah, let's go. Let's go to Mr. Phillips.
What are my vices? Let's see. I would say. So I'm gonna like trick y'all out real quick. My vice is spending money. Right. So when I say that, right, like when I get into like certain situations and I'm looking to escape from, I like to like spend my money on like dumb shit. I don't know why. I just like to do that. I like to take myself out to eat and pay for a $400 steak because I can. But it's like, then after I get done with it, I'm like, why did I do that? Like,
and then call me like, bro, that shit was trash.
And it'd be mad as hell, be like, bro, that was horrible. But like, I don't know why. Listen. I don't know if you ever, y'all been out to eat with me, haven't y'all?
Well, I mean, we went to.
Yeah, bro. I go listen.
Outside, yeah.
That's the regular.
Bro, that's regular, bro. I go out to eat, bro. Like.
Okay.
You ain't gotta go to the most expensive spot to go out to eat.
But I'm going, bro. Like, that's what I'm saying. It's a problem. That's my problem. That's my vice. Like,
but you spun that earlier and you said that was in other conversations, like that's like your reward.
No. I spun it earlier, like, go take yourself out to eat. I'm talking about when I'm in, like, when I'm trying to escape something, right? So, like, let's say, for example, like, I'm having issues with my wife at home, right? Or whatever. I'm like, you know what? All right. You know what? I'm gonna go out and do something by myself, and now I'm like, damn, I just spent $300. And then, okay, you know, stuff still going on. I'm still escaping, not trying to face it. I'm gonna go do something else. That's not $300. That's a problem. Like I'm doing fine, but
yeah,
I'm not $400 a day fine. You know. So
I
appreciate that. I appreciate the honesty on that one, though. For real.
What would be like your solution to that? To dealing with that in a better way or managing that?
So I've been so what I've tried to do now is like have like food at the crib. So like I just cook shit now, you know what I'm saying? Like I just have it there because before I wouldn't go grocery shopping. It's like, okay, I gotta go grocery shopping now. And by the way too, you know they said that technically speaking it's cheaper to like eat out versus like going grocery shopping now. Now I don't know what type of level of food they're talking about. Maybe that's like Chipotle every day or something. But they said they're just throwing it out there, my foodies. But yeah, I have an issue with that. It's advice I gotta chill on.
I'm gonna send you some recipes, man.
I appreciate that, man.
Quick too.
I need something, man.
Like 30.
And also like I don't know if y'all seen those things at like Kroger and Publix where they got like those like $7 meals. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Like I've been fucking them shits up too. Like, but yeah, I have
that cheesecake from Publix.
I have it's like, what do you call it? Not compulsive buying. What is it? I can't think of the name.
It could be
is that what it is?
Spending, yeah.
Compulsive spending. Like I'm just like like fuck, I gotta have it. Like, but that's like my coping mechanism. So I know that sounds very, very like sedity, blonde, you know.
No,
Caucasian.
no, Brad. No,
you know what I'm saying?
no,
but like I'm just.
I think everybody went through that.
Yeah.
That's good. Yeah. What's your advice?
What's my advice, bro? I'm gonna start from I always got a timeline with me, right? So my first vice, bro, was porn.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it was porn. I think that might have started around a little before I got active, just due to being curious. And then once I, had my first time, had a high school sweetheart, I was cool. Then I went through the heartbreak, and then I was abstinent for maybe almost 2 years.
Mm-hmm.
So I was
really
during that time.
I was fucking it up.
Yeah.
And in a sense, I wouldn't even call that vice a bad thing. I was technically coping and also protecting myself, right? Because at this time, around that time, I'm in my prime. I'm 20, 21.
Right.
I'm outside.
Right.
Getting no pussy.
Yeah.
So I gotta go home and wacka, go crazy. Just to, you know what I'm saying? To decompress, keep myself level. Couldn't get caught slipping again, right?
That's because you had like a growing stage during that time, like that.
Yeah,
you had to be like focused.
Yeah,
so
for sure. So that porn was that porn was.
I be on his head, bro, crazy, bro. I'd be like, bro, he be hanging out with all these females, bro, and I'd be like, bro, what's up, bro? What happened? He'd be like,
and that
man,
was
she cool, bro. I just, what I'm saying. I just, kissed on the neck. I was like, that's it, bro? What you mean?
Yeah, bro, that was a challenge for me.
I mean, bro, and that shit shocked me, bro. I was like, and it's crazy because he did that. Like, it actually changed like my whole dynamic when it came to women. I swear to God.
Oh yeah,
it really did.
Yeah, me too.
I
Yo,
shit.
Yeah. You about to get into it.
What's happening now?
I'm serious. That's what he's talking about, bro. Literally changed my whole dynamic of how I like thought about when it came to women, bro.
Yeah.
Like, I swear to God. I was like, ain't no way, bro, this nigga can control stuff like this. I can't control myself. I was like, you know what? Cause he started hitting me with the questions like, he's like, you know why? You know what I'm saying? They y'all don't last as friends anymore after you guys get done.
Yeah.
I was like, wow, damn. Okay, you know what? I'm gonna hold it out. No.
Jay, what you was about to say, right? Because apparently y'all have it's a backstory with this, man.
Take it back. Mm-hmm. We're gonna take it back to when I was 19 and I went to a Sex Addicts Anonymous meeting at 19.
Hold on.
That was during the time. That was during the time that he was going.
That wasn't the proper reaction.
That was during the time that he was doing his abstinent thing, and I was doing the opposite.
I love that to choke on the drink.
Lo used to tell me like, "Yo, man, you gotta relax. You gotta relax, man. You impatient, man. You just taking it when it's given to you." I'm like, hey. Hey,
I've never heard this story.
yeah, man.
It's a great story.
There were some times where.
It's a great story.
So I would say sex. Wow, is advice? I think we said this last season. I said this something like this last season. How sex for me was a very delicate thing. It took a long time for me to accept sex as being a part of my lifestyle for a number of reasons. One, being a black man, historically, we've always been, sexual. I mean, and women too, black women too, always been historically sexually objectified. Always expected for us to, you know what I'm saying, to be immature, reckless, brutes when it comes to sex, stuff like that. So me, as an emerging young man, I'm like, I don't want to be like that. I don't want to be labeled as that. I don't want to be a stereotype to where, I'm vilified for me just wanting to have sex or me wanting to exercise my, my sexual, expression. So I was really like subdued. Like I didn't tell folks I masturbated or I watched porn or like that because I just was like, all right, take it back further. I was 12. I found my dad's old porns. I found it.
I found my dad's
I started. Look,
my dad, my dad had like the old 70s one, bro. Like, yeah, bro.
Right. So
I had DVDs though.
That's what happened. I'm 12. I'm watching it. I proceed to masturbate. I'm thinking nobody's gonna come in the room. Mom's come in the room.
The first time you masturbated?
No.
Oh.
This is like, I already knew how to masturbate at this point. But I just, caught one of my dad's flicks, popped it in. I'm thinking, okay, nobody's gonna come upstairs and, you know what I'm saying? Because it was sort of kind of late too. She came upstairs and I'm hearing her come up the stairs. So I'm like, you know how you do, try to get everything clean. And she came in and she sort of kind of peeped.
She knew what's up.
She peeped, didn't say anything. My mother peeped, didn't say anything.
Walk out.
Went downstairs, went back downstairs, didn't talk to me. And then Pops come home. She tell him, and he all like, you jerking your shit, man, watching my porn, all this other stuff. And that was the point where it was like, damn, like y'all are policing me over me finding myself, like me exploring and finding myself.
Right.
Like that changes you.
I'm a human being. Like,
that changes
like
you.
Primal.
That changes you, bro. If you look at me and you look at me like I'm doing something that warrants to be punished or something like that, for me just doing what y'all do because y'all grown, I can't find and explore like how y'all found and explore when y'all 14, 15, 16. Like, so that left me to be like, okay, I'm gonna keep it to myself.
Maybe you might have outed dad. And mom didn't know.
It's that.
Nah, they weren't together at the time, so it was fine. He already had his own girlfriend and everything too, so it was fine. But it's just like a kind of thing where I just kept that to myself. I didn't know how to express my sexual desires because I just felt like if anybody knew, especially if I wasn't, 17, 18, 20, a grown man, I just felt like it was going to be vilified, even for my own people. So once I started to have sex, whatever like that, again, I started having sex routinely. 17 to 21 was my era. That was my whole phase. Might have bled into a little bit after that, but 17, 21 was different. And I took some risk. I took some unprotected risk, and it got to a point where I was relaying this information to Lo and to Alex and to other folks around me about what I was doing, and they wasn't on that. Because I was 17, 18, 19, and I'm same age as them, but they wasn't on that yet.
I was outside, bro.
And so they were making, so again, they was making me feel like I was reckless. I was, wasn't patient. And I was like, well, damn, man, I need to get some help. and so I went to the little church, a little Catholic church off of Washington Street in Atlanta, right downtown. And I sat in for one session, and then I heard about what all the other men were doing because of sex, and I was like, I ain't that bad. There were dudes there, man, who was blowing their whole child's student, college funds on prostitutes, men in there, sleeping with underage girls in there, man. Like it was some extreme cases, and I was just like, well, shit, I just had unprotected sex a couple of times, but I'm alright. Wrap it up. And I wasn't back. I haven't been back since. And so
Free condoms, appreciate it.
So so sex it was something that started out as like a vice. Sex porn as well started out as a vice, and now it became something where it's a part of my expression. Like, bro, like I value sex a lot.
Do y'all watch porn still to this day?
Yeah, absolutely.
Time? What's what's time?
Like bi-weekly.
Okay.
I started testing myself sometimes though.
I try testing. I'm testing myself too. I used to be bad. I used to be like once a day.
No, agreed.
No cap.
You gotta be careful with microphones sometimes, boy.
Be careful with microphones.
I know this is another story. Yo, y'all got some stories, man.
Yo,
y'all got some stories, man.
Yo.
I think we all did. You get somebody your phone and then they try to like go on the internet.
Yeah, you like, hey man, my bad, bro. Hey, you got me tomorrow the time, brother.
Right.
Yeah, bro. It was bad,
you get in class and you forgot what you were doing.
That was bad, bro. Like I used to legit, bro. Like playing. Once in the morning, bro. Once before I go to work, bro. Like I mean, I had to challenge myself, like, bro, chill, Mike. Like, humble yourself, man.
Yeah, but it took some time.
Yeah, it took some time,
like to build the discipline. Because even not just like having sex, but just even if you watch porn, like to have the discipline not to release at all, like just like in like a retention type standpoint, I think is important.
Yeah.
You know, building up some willpower just to be like, okay, I conquered that. And then
It's tough.
And look, so you conquered that in the morning. You conquered it in the morning, and at 2 PM it's back, and you like.
When I engage in the retention, it comes to me in dreams. At that point, it's a wrap. Once I get a wet dream, it's a wrap. I got to get it out my system because now it's embedded in me to have to get this release.
But is that a test? Is that a test?
I'm not looking at it like that. I'm looking at it like we have natural urges. I gotta get
it. Is it a natural urge?
Yes.
Or is this?
It's a natural urge. We're humans. Like we are humans. We have hormones. Like, come on, where's my biology folks at?
I'm with you.
No, I'm with you. These are questions. These questions.
Bro. Like, you know, we got naturals. Like, you know, I think that's where Jalen alluded to. Is like, I don't want to feel shame for like, you know, being me, natural.
And plus, for all the men out here, especially the black men, pancreatic and prostate cancer are top 5 in deaths for us. For that prostate, you must. They didn't know. They don't tell you this. They don't want to tell you this, but you have to get a release a few times a week to help stable a healthy prostate.
I'm healthy as hell.
You got in order to maintain a healthy prostate, even if we're young, you know, so we ain't got to think about it till after 40 and we get our exams and all that other stuff. But in the interim, you should start to champion getting that release when you feel like you need to, because it does help maintain a healthier prostate. It's not just when you think about urine, I got to tinkle every 2 seconds. Like, nah, actually releasing and releasing the sperm and the toxins and all that associated with you ejaculating actually helps your prostate as well. You know what I'm saying? So I would suggest to all men out there, do not be ashamed.
Get it out.
You know, always be appropriate. Always have consensual partners. Always wrap it up.
Rub the one out.
And get it off.
Yes. And you know what's crazy? Sometimes, bro. I don't know if you guys ever done this. I don't know. I've told women this is a man thing. This is what we do. Like you ever like want to link up with a chick? You know what I'm saying? But it's like, damn, do I really want to link up with her because I want to see her, or do I just want to have sex with her? And if you ever rub one off, and then after that you're like, I'm good. Like she can stay
every
home.
time.
Like that's a thing for like women. That's a thing that we do to judge if we really want to see you or not, or if it's just sex.
That's
like,
your point.
I'm just throwing it out.
Your point about the discipline.
I'm right.
Yeah, you'd be like, I'm good. And that kind of, you know, that protection, hours? Like you said, it saves us. Like, you know what? I don't need a headache. You know what? I was just horny. You
get hit up in them demon time hours.
That's how you
gotta rub it out.
Yeah.
You gotta rub it out.
Because if I really want to see you, I rub it out and be like, okay, yeah, still pull up for sure. Because now my intentions are pure.
Different. Yeah. Their intentions are different.
Yeah. Yeah, they're different. Because before you would have took that shit for that reward. But, you know, like whatever, you know, like you want a conversation, she's like, I don't really want to have it, but, you know, I really want to sleep with her. Like, ladies.
So, the 5, fear, insecurity, vices, ego. So we started earlier, you selected one of the 5 that you were dealing with or more. So now, as we end this, what is one word that you would use to capture you overcoming whatever your 5 is? One word to capture whatever that is that embodies the essence of you overcoming whatever your fear, insecurity, vice, or ego is.
Discipline.
Great word. Jay?
Resilient.
I hate both of y'all. But...
Right, both of my words.
Yeah.
Well, I ain't been. Discipline and resilience.
Come on, man. You got it. Come on at 5.
Ain't no more 5.
Ain't no more 5. Resilience was the one. That was top flame right
Use
there.
persevering.
Perseverance is cool, but I'm gonna say grit.
Yes.
Oh man.
Come on.
Yeah,
That's another heavy hitter.
Yeah. Grit, discipline, resilience.
You hit him with the foundational word.
Yeah. I would say the word that I would use to capture the winning of it all would be sacrifice.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Without
Sacrifice.
sacrifice.
You gotta sacrifice that ego. You gotta sacrifice that
Yeah.
pride. You gotta sacrifice all that shit. Like,
Yeah. So for sure. So sacrifice, resilience, discipline. Yeah. We locked in, man. The 5.
yeah.
Yeah.
Alright. The 5.
You know we're gonna do a part 2 next season.
Yeah, this
We gotta
guy,
come back
we gotta come
around.
back. There's a lot of stories that we didn't share.
Yeah.
Man, we gotta go in some more depth on.
Yeah.
We'll say that for the recap.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Recap.
We'll say that for the recap.
Absolutely. All right, gentlemen.
All right. Let's go.
Let's
Business.
get it.
We go. I know.
Yo, that's the staple. That is the staple every time, man.
Yes, sir. Gone.
Other boys.